everyone. My name is Paul Third, and today I'm going to be looking more into console plugins. Now, quickly as a disclaimer, I am not doing this video to see if plugins can sound like an analog console. All I want to do today is test out two plugin consoles, and all I want to do is test one, do they make an audible difference? Two, what does that audible difference sound like? And three, does that audible difference actually make the track sound better? Two tools coming from Sonimus or Sonimus or what, I don't know how to say them, I don't know. So Sonimus got in touch and inquired if I would like to have a look at some of their plugins. The Britson is a Neve style, the Satson is an SSL style. So I'm very intrigued to try these two out because I know a Swedish engineer that uses these, and he's quite a big Swedish engineer, and he has been using the Britson on a lot of his mixes. So do these plugins actually make a record sound better? Let's find out. Now, if you are new to this channel, you will not know that what I've been doing just now is I've been starting a mixing session, okay, from scratch, okay? I've got a free multitrack, and I've already done videos about how to pre-mix your track, subtractive EQ, noise reduction. I used the Acoustica Blonde pre-mixer, and then last week we did a tape shootout, so I've got everything going into the UAD SHOOTOUT, which unbelievably, would you believe it, outstandingly, right, by a high majority, beat a real SHOOTOUT tape machine. But it's all subjective, it's one track, one tape machine, but the majority did prefer the UAD plug-in SHOOTOUT tape machine, okay, which was really interested me, okay. And honestly, guys, thank you so much for everybody that voted, okay. So that's all we've done just now, okay. Subtractive EQ, noise reduction, a bit of like Acoustica pre-mixer, and it's all the stems have went through a tape plugin, okay? That's all we've done. So let's have a look at these two plugins, okay? So as you can see in terms of the linear frequency responses, again, they both are different. The Britson is a little bit more flatter than the Satson. In terms of the harmonics, the Britson, which is the Neve, is understandably has more harmonics. It's a little bit more rich compared to the Satson, which is based on an SSL. So the SSL is cleaner, but as you can see, there is a fat switch as well. But as you can see, when you're switching them on and off, you can see that it has more of an effect in the Satson. Kind of gives you a little bit more of a smiley curve in the Satson, where in the Britson it's a little bit more subtle, okay? Now, in terms of the way that these plugins work, it's very easy, okay? And I like easy, okay? So you've got the channel strips, they go on all your tracks, and then you've got a bus, which obviously goes on your buses, and also your master bus. Now, on the master bus, what you're going to do is that's where you're going to have your groups. All you've got to do is just click the Sonimus logo, and then what you're going to see is it's going to give you kind of all of these options, and you just kind of click grouping, and then all you've got to do is go on your channel strips, right click the bottom, and then it'll give you kind of options, grouping, like play 1 to 6, I think, or maybe more than that, I forget. But all you have to do is right click it, select your group, and then you can go into the master bus version. Now, the great thing about using the bus on the master in a group setup is that it's basically a one-stop shop. You don't really need to go back into your tracks. Okay, once you've done your gain staging and set everything up, it's really easy to use. And then all you've got to do is go into the one plugin, and then you could then change your levels. Again, you could add the fat switch, you could switch everything off, on and off. It's really easy to use. And from a workflow point of view, works really well. Okay, another thing you won't know is that, again, it does default comes in, it's got like a cross feed in there as well. So again, you think about crosstalk and consoles and stuff like that, it's got that built in, but you just got to make sure you've got that switched on, but you can switch it on and off as well. And then the last thing to mention is that there's high pass and low pass filters in, which is great for me where I am just now in this track. I've not compressed anything, no additive EQ, okay, but I have added in the Acoustica Blonde pre-mixer and also the tape, okay, so I kind of have added certain frequencies in the mix, especially with the SHOOTOUT tape, as it kind of rolls off the high mids and then has like a big kind of, a little bit of a kind of a high boost in the highs, okay? So to me, before I go into the compression, I want to make sure that everything is tightened up. High pass, low pass filters. All I'm doing is going into each track and I'm just kind of sculpting. I'm just kind of going, right, can I make the low end a little bit tighter? What's getting in the way? Is the low end muddy? Is the highs maybe a little bit harsh? What's the tape added? And I'm just doing some final sculpt. So it's really simple. High pass and low pass filtering in. I've got all the crossfeed, crosstalk kind of stuff in, and I've also got the harmonics, and also I've got everything grouped as well and how that all comes together. So let's kind of see in a blind test which one I prefer. This is the most important thing. So obviously when they're all level matched, is there a difference? Am I going to hear? Because the problem is in the last console video that I did, without any filtering, just the pre's, I could hear the differences, but it wasn't completely night and day. I had to still kind of listen hard. Is it going to be night and day? Do these plugins actually add something, or is it just kind of all hype and marketing? Okay, so blind tests. Dry versus Satson, Dry versus Britson. Let's do it.
Hey baby, not even so glad you're high. 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 Hey baby, not even so glad you're high.
So without a shadow of a doubt, in my opinion, that's night and day. Absolutely night and day. And I'll tell you why, okay? Because I did say at the start of the video, I want to say three things. One, is there an audible difference? Yes, there is an audible difference, okay? Two, what is that audible difference? Okay, so for me, the audible difference that these plugins add is openness. Now, I speak about it all the time, okay? Now, a lot of people see analog and consoles as open. Now, how I perceive open, again, it's all subjective, but how I perceive open, and I've mentioned it in other videos, is pockets. Again, I'm going to use my hands because I got a few comments in the last one saying, Paul, I understood like the hand things, okay? So this is visually how I see it, okay? In the dry, it's kind of like this. This is kind of your mix, okay? It's very tight and condensed. Now, what these console plugins do is they kind of just do that. And as you can see here, look, you've kind of got, I can kind of see through the mix a little bit. And what it's doing is it's giving everything space, okay? The dry just does that, and I've not got those pockets where the consoles kind of do that. It just opens everything up and there's space. I just feel like I can put myself in the mix a little bit easier. Almost like I can pop my head into the mix. That's the only way I can describe it. It's got more pockets, it's more open, it's got more space. Everything stands out a little bit more. Is it adding in more width? I don't know. To me, it's just making everything more open, which is what people say kind of console vibes can give you, okay, that kind of openness and that separation due to a lot of the crosstalk that's going on, okay, and a lot of the summon that's going on. Now, the last thing that I wanted to check was, okay, I know that there's an audible difference, okay, I know what the audible difference is. Now, does that audible difference make the source sound better? Now, you all know I'm honest, and I'm just going to be honest and say I would use either or of these in every single mix. I love openness, and that to me is guaranteed openness if you use it right. Now, the way I've got it set up is, see the master bus, I've got it on as the very last plugin on the print bus after the Acoustica Snow. I tried it before the mix bus compressor, which is the vari level. I tried it before the Snow. No, put it on the very end of your chain, okay? And you will get, honestly, there is a difference in the way that you chain it. That's the kind of sound I got. Again, engaging the fat switch. If you use too much of it, it can be too much. But in terms of the drums, I just thought I had a really nice weight. I used it on the piano as well. I kind of rolled off the lows and then used that fat switch to add in a little bit more harmonics, where the lows aren't getting in the way of the kicking the bass, but I'm still managing to bring back some of that kind of low-end girth to the piano. Okay, so when you're kind of playing the lower notes in the piano, it's still got a little bit of heft and a little bit of weight. Again, all of these options really add up really, really, really nicely, in my opinion. So what I want to do is I want to test myself and test you guys as well, just so I can prove that I can hear the differences between the two plugins in a blind test. In my opinion, I can tell them, like, dead easy, night and day. There's your Satson, there's your clean kind of SSL, and there's kind of your Neve, Britson, and there's kind of your low mids and your weight and your rich harmonics and your kind of a little bit more excitement. So let's go into a blind test, and I'll just show you how quickly I was able to pick each out, but also so you guys can hear the difference side by side as well, okay?
Hey baby, not
okay, so there you go. To me, it is night and day. I can tell the two of them apart, which is good, because the last thing you want to do is you get a lot of plugins that are like basically doing the same thing, but it's like this one sounds like this and this one sounds like that. And the two of them, you can't really tell the difference apart. I can tell the difference apart here. Remember to let me know in the comments section down below what you thought. My name is Paul Third, and I will see you next week on Mixing Wednesdays.